Larry Kudlow said this is the Fed's 50 basis point gift to Kamala Harris. And that is exactly what I believe it is also, is an in-kind donation to the Kamala Harris campaign, because normally Feds raise interest rates to get inflation under control, and then they lower it once inflation is under control, which we know that it's not. Inflation is still happening at a rapid pace. It's not as fast as it was, but inflation is still happening. So really the Feds have no reason to lower interest rates unless you're trying to get a quick bump in the economy to try to fake it and make it look like things are better, to make Kamala Harris' economy look like it's doing better when it actually isn't. They try to say that the Federal Reserve is not political, but but this just goes to show that they really are political. So we're gonna play this clip and try and get Larry Kudlow's take on this. I'm excited to see his take on this. I haven't watched this video yet, so I want to see what he has to say. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. And I'm going to be putting a lot more on Patreon now, more than ever, because I'm trying to get be able to what are they called, partner with YouTube. But I got my thing shot down because of some of the quote unquote harmful stuff I have on it. So I looked into it and see what they considered harmful, and it was the global warming stuff. So I deleted all my global warming stuff from YouTube. If y'all want to know my thoughts and stuff on that, check out my BitChute. Link should be in the description to my BitChute, where I have all my YouTube stuff archived there. So check out my BitChute. Also follow me on X and Instagram as well. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, again, this comes from Larry Kudlow from Fox Business. Let's get right to this clip here. Here we go.
So the Fed's 50 basis points gift to Kamala. That's the subject of the riff. Yeah, 48 days before the election, looks like Fed Chair Jay Powell just gave Kamala Harris a 50 basis point gift by slashing their target rate by 1/2 of 1 percentage point. This may well put the central bank smack in the middle of presidential politics, something they pledged not to do.
Right,
now,
right.
In light of a modest decline in commodity prices and longer-term interest rates and a softening in the labor market, a 25 basis point cut would seem to be justified in economic terms with no political overtones whatsoever. But 50 basis point supercut, well, that sounds kind of like the ultra-liberal Democratic Senators Elizabeth Warren, Sheldon Whitehouse, and John Hickenlooper, who are all jawboning the Fed to lower interest rates by 75 basis points. Now, in truth, the economy is growing above the Fed's 2% growth target, while year-to-year inflation has softened to 2.5%, though it remains above the Fed's 2% inflation target. The problem has always been more of an affordability crisis, where consumer prices throughout the Biden-Harris term have increased faster than wages. The cost of living index up about 20%, weekly wages up only about 16%. So
if you're making more today, which a lot of people are, I happen to be one of those, even if you're making more today, it might not be, you might not be feeling it, because the affordability thing, everything costs more. So even if you're making more, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're making more, really. That's why they call it real wages. Could the real wages account for inflation, the cost of things? And if you look at the real wages, we're not up. No, we're not actually making more.
Typical working families have lost about 4% in declining real wages. Now, during the Trump years, real wages rose by over 9%. Contrast that again with a 4% drop during the Biden-Harris years. In dollar terms, real wages rose roughly $6,000 for a typical family during the Trump years, nearly 5 times the roughly $1,300 increase under Biden-Harris. Many prices Groceries, gasoline, electricity, homes, insurance rates, autos, all that has increased significantly more than the 20%. Now, as the Fed's doing several years ago when they started monetizing all the Biden-Harris federal spending excesses. And the central bank has continued to pump inflation until late 2022, when finally their argument that price hikes were temporary or transitory proved to be foolhardy and dead wrong. Now, the affordability crisis has always been the Achilles heel of discredited Bidenomics or Kamalanomics or whatever the case. By the way, that includes high borrowing costs for home mortgages, car loans, especially credit cards.
And that's especially homes. That's why people are not selling their homes right now. They're holding on to it because for them to sell their home, and why would you sell your home and then buy a new home under this crazy, ridiculous interest rate? It's nonsensical. So a lot of people are sitting on their homes hoping that interest rates will go down.
There are reasons why Kamala Harris is unable to answer the simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? She couldn't answer during the debate or her one and only interview, one-on-one interview with a local Philadelphia TV station, or in her recent appearance before the National Association of Black Journalists. Can't answer it.
Never answered it.
Perhaps the Fed has information that the entire economy is about to collapse, and that's why they're lunging for a 50 basis point super cut. But that scenario just...
That would make sense, though. That actually would make sense. That would explain the rate cut. But that means it's gonna get, the bottom is about to drop out, and they can't really control it. That's what that means. If that is true, that is a terrible, terrible scenario.
Just kind of seems unlikely. More to the point is that while Biden-Harris government spending continues to roar, the Fed is risking higher future inflation by pushing more money into the economy. Or even worse, if Kamala were elected president with her roughly $5 trillion across-the-board tax hike, that would suppress economic growth, and the Fed would continue a super cycle of monetary easing, while you'd have the classic superinflation definition of too much money chasing too few goods. Seems to me Mr. Trump has a better idea. Cutting taxes, deregulating, spending restraint, and drill baby drill lower oil prices along with a stable dollar. Now, that would promote rapid growth without inflation and end the Biden-Harris affordability crisis.
Facts.
And that's the riff.
Facts, man, straight up. I love Larry Kudlow. I love his insight. That's why I always go to him for economic advice. Charles Payne, he's another good one. Fox Business is really all around a great source of economy information. Wall Street Journal sometimes. Another good source for economic advice is Motley Fool. Even though they and Market Watch, even though Market Watch tend to bend a little bit left, a little bit too left for me, they still have some really good advice when it comes to the markets and the economy and stuff. But I digress. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.